there are 4 factors which cause people to be ill. It's really interesting. Number 1, nutrition. Nutrition. If you do not have good nutrition, you will be sick. Number 2, toxic exposure, toxic environments. Bad air, bad water, bad food is part of that. Yeah. 3, radiation. Radiation. So technology, Wi-Fi, 5G, cell phones,
mobile.
yeah, just
everything. What we need in our world, technology.
Yeah, lots of the technologies. Lots of the technologies. Yeah. And the 4th factor is emotional stress. So, emotional stress, electromagnetic radiation, toxic environments, and bad food. Bad food. Those are the 4 main factors. And this is about the way people live. It's about their habits, about their thinking. And if we want to be healthy, we have to think in the right way. We have to, if another person, for example, if somebody else is building a fire, you don't want to give them more wood and fuel for the fire. Yeah, because it'll just make it bigger. So, but at the same time, you don't want to throw water on their fire because they'll get angry. Different situations will require different responses. But the idea is that you have to make your focus completely different. You have to make your focus. You understand? You have to make the focus different. If my focus is the same focus as the focus that makes things bad, then I'm just going to make bad bigger. It's going to get worse. Right? You need a more, wiser strategy. You need a strategy, but you need a wiser strategy. You got to think about it. You got to think about what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and work on the strategy. Not the problem, but the strategy. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. You see, you understand that what you said is not true. Because what you said is, it's not possible in this construct. It's not possible in this construct of what we have. Yes, you see, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Because the rich man is connected to everything that he owns. As your business is connected to all this technology. Without the technology, like me too. Look, Skype, you know, Skype and Zoom and digital communication. Without without the technology, this this communication would not be possible. And so and so and yet there is another path. That's what Jesus was saying. The rich man comes to Jesus and he says, I've told this story 1,000 times. The rich man comes to Jesus and, Jesus, I want to help you. I want to follow you. And Jesus says, okay, give everything away. And the rich man says, well, what? You know, he's like, I can't. But if you look at the story of Jesus, Jesus asks the tax man to follow him. Right? Jesus had 12 disciples.
Apoštolov po slovensky, myslím.
Okay, yes. Yeah, okay. Yes, but in the apostle became, there were many more apostles than actually 12. The original 12 are called the disciples. From discipline, which means following the rules. Yeah. So originally there were 12, yeah? One of the 12 was Matthew. What was Matthew's job?
I don't know. I didn't read.
Okay. No, I get it. Okay. Matthew was a tax collector.
Zberač čoho?
Tax. Dan. Daňový úrad, the tax office.
Ja, dane, taxes. Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Matthew was the tax officer. He was the tax collector. He was a Jewish tax collector. He was very rich, and he was protected by Rome. Jesus said to him, "Follow me." And Matthew said, "I will." And he gave away everything. And all he had was his clothes and his book for writing. That was all he had. He gave away everything. So when you say but we need this and we need this and we need this and we need this. In this box that is our world, our work, our life, yeah. Yeah. Why do you need work? You need work to make money. What's money? Printed paper. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important. Don't get me wrong. It's important in this construct. If I had more money, would you like me better?
Maybe.
I hope not. I hope not, because I hope that it would be the same, right? I hope that it would be the same. And
I don't have a lot of money as well.
Yeah, look, that's.
I don't need it.
Well, that's the responsibilities, right? With the more money you have, the more responsibility you have, the more power you have, the more responsibility you have. and and then what? And then what? Where does it end? You know, look,
Never.
well, yeah, exactly. Look, it's a philosophical question, but you know, when how much is too much? How much is enough?
Okay, well.
Yeah, it's
How much is enough?
yeah,
For
it's
everybody, it's enough different. Money, different things. Narrative.
yeah, and maybe that's wrong. You understand? Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it shouldn't be different for everybody. Maybe everybody should have the same values. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to tell. I have my opinion. I'm allowed to like or dislike things. I'm allowed to make a suggestion. I don't expect people to listen or do what I tell them to do. I don't care. I don't care really. It's their life. So the the point is there are other ways to do things. You see, it's about breaking down the construct of how everything actually works. So smoking. I am. I played a lot of sport when I was young. And I was average. I was average fitness. I was average strength. I was average size. I worked hard. But I was never the best, you know. I was. There would be at university there was a number 1 team and a number 2 team, and I was always in the number 2 team. I was never good enough to be in the number 1 team, and I was very happy with that, right? Because it was accurate, akurat, as the Slovaks say. Yeah, it was. You know, it was where I should be. It was a good place for me to be in team number 2. I was not good enough to be in team number 1. But I was good at what I played because I always did something non-traditional. I always did something not expected. I looked at what everybody else was doing, and I made sure that I did something completely different. So, for example, I played English field hockey, right? You know, stick and running up and down with the ball. And, yeah. So I played English field hockey, and I was not the fastest. I was not the strongest. But I always did something completely different that nobody else did. If everybody went that way, I went that way. Because I knew that I would create a space, I would create a place, I would create an opportunity. If there was nobody there, then I went there because
I understand.
You know, I remember saying to somebody, I remember saying to somebody once, just get the ball and put the ball over there. And he was like, what? I said, just He said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do. But get the ball and see that big space over there. There's a big space over. Just get the ball over there, and I will think of something. When I get there, I'll get to the ball first. I'll work it out, and then I'll think of something. I would always do. I would always. I was always thinking that 1% that's different, where the 99% was the same. And that's what my skill was. That's what I was good at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew that I was never going to be the fastest. I was never going to be the strongest. But I knew that I could outthink. I could think in a way that other people didn't think. And you have to know what you're good at, because there's two things, right? You either do what you're good at and do it well, or you do what you're bad at and try to get better. And you have to know where and when to choose these two things.
Mm-hmm.
When in serious times, in difficult times, you got to do what you're good at. When the results don't matter so much, you can do what you're bad at, and you can, I can. Like when I'm with my kids, I got to focus and do what is the right thing. When I'm on a skateboard, right? That's a different situation. And getting comfortable with that is important. I'll give you another example. I'll give you a crazy example. I wanted to record a poem today for my children. And I opened my poetry notes, and I didn't have a poem. There were no new poems there. There were, and I thought, oh, I don't have any, because I thought I had one more, but I didn't. I didn't have any more. And so I thought, okay, I have to write one. So I got a piece of paper, I sat down, I wrote a poem, and I recorded it, and I put it online. And from having no poem to writing the poem to recording it and putting it online on the internet, it took me 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yes. Yeah. At 0 time, there was no poem. And after 20 minutes, the poem was finished and in a recorded video and on the internet in 20 minutes. Right? You have to know what you're good at. You have to know your strengths. You also have to understand that not everything works. Right? As a doctor who treats patients, it's important to explain that it might work, it might not work. It's a risk. Right? Everybody's body is different. Yeah. So in complex situations, you have to ask yourself always, what is my strength? Yes. You have to ask yourself, what is my strength? What am I good at? Like if somebody is playing basketball and they say, hey, come play basketball with us, I'll be like, I don't think you want me on your basketball team. I said, it will be fun for me, but probably not for you. Because my skills are not in that area at this point in my life. So when you know what the fight is, when you know what the battle is, when you know what the game is,
Mm.
you then have to ask yourself,
Mm.
what am I what what am I good at? What is my place?
Mm.
What can I
Mm.
what can I do? How deep is the water? Can I swim in that water or not?
Mm. Yes, I understand.
And I I at this point I understand what I am good at and what I am not good at. And I have to play the strong game. And the strong game is the 1% game, where everybody is thinking like this.
Mm-hmm.
The traditional way, the classical way. And the best way for me to navigate it is to do something completely different. Right? Write a book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You understand, play to your strengths. You ask yourself, what can I do? What am I good at? Right? Rather than playing another person's game, like they're playing chess and I'm not good at chess. So I'm not going to go and play chess because that's not the
Mm-hmm.
way that has no positive benefit for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when everybody is saying, well, this is the right thing to do, you have to do this, but what if that's not my strength? Right? Then it's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to play to my strength. And my strength is always going in the opposite direction to everything else that is happening. Always going in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that helps because I know myself. I know what I can do, and I know my mindset. I know how my mind works. I know how much I know how much fire I can hold in my hand.
Mm-hmm. That's
Uh,
understand.
and so that I think that's the key
Mm.
is to play. If you have to play a game, the key is to play your game your way. Like like if you're a tennis player, yeah,
Mm.
and you're playing against another player who's very good. You have to play your own game, not their game. Don't play their game. You
Mm.
play your game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're and a classic example with golf, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the golfer who wins is the golfer who plays their own game. They don't
Definitely.
play anybody else's game. They don't look at anybody else's game. They don't think about anybody else's game. They don't look at the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing their own thing. Because when you start to look at other people, oh my gosh, they did that. They did, then you begin to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he used a 6-iron. Maybe I should use a 6-iron and not a 5-iron.
Mm.
You begin to change your game because of the influence of other people around about you. And sometimes you need to change. Sometimes that can be helpful. Sometimes you need to be observant about what's happening. That's true. But at the end of the day, you got to play your own game. You got to play to your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't pick up the guitar and sing if you can't play the guitar and you can't sing. It's not going to have a positive result there.
Mm.
Know where you are the master and know where you are the student. That's why I go to my lawyer and I say, tell me what to do. I don't go to my lawyer and say, you need to do this. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I go to my lawyer and I say, what do I do? And he tells me and I do it. And that's because in that situation, I'm the student, he's the master. And
I understand. Yes, you. It's true.
yeah, and sometimes my lawyer will say to me, but you tell me what to do. And I say, no, that's stupid because you have all the experience and I have no experience. And the novice should not tell the master which steps to take. Right? And the novice is there to listen and to learn. And we make the biggest mistakes we can ever make when we're 100% sure that we're right. Yeah, because maybe we're not. Maybe we're not right. And yeah, it's so when I say that when I told you already what I am going to do. And I'm going to do that because that is my strength. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. Yeah. If you are doing something and you can't win and you know you can't win, you have to say okay. Right? You have to say okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who just fighting the wrong fights. Because the greatest fight will always be with yourself. You fight others not because of who they are, but because of who you are. So write that one down. It's a good one. Yeah. You choose the fight. You pick the fight. You choose the conversation. You pick the conversation. You can always turn around. You can always walk away. You have to live with that responsibility and, be honest about it, but we all have that choice. It comes back to the fact that people want to point the finger at everybody else and say, I failed because of you. Usually it's not true. Yeah, look, there might be sabotage involved in certain situations. It happens. But, sabotage is lack of understanding. It's still a personal failure. You thought it was like this, but it was like this. It's still a personal failure. and everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else. No, 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 no. You don't do that, right? You don't do that. It's not the right. It's. I don't understand why I got the cancer. Maybe nobody understands, but you know you, right? There's so many people walk into the doctor's surgery and they want the doctor to tell them what's wrong with them. The doctor doesn't know where they were or what they ate or who they spoke to or what they drank or how many hours they worked or what TV programs they watched or how well they slept or, you know, the doctor doesn't know any of these things. And people want the doctor to tell them what's wrong with them. It's like, that's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I mean, the doctor's there as a guide and a help and a last resort of sorts, but it's people expect too much from doctors, right?
Of course.
Yeah, they expect far too much. It's it's not a we're not fixing a car, okay? Yeah, you can't just crash it and buy a new one. Doesn't work like that. You get one car, one chance, one life, one body. That's it. That's it. Yeah. You can't just crumple it up, throw it away. You can't just do that. Yeah. And maybe that's what doctors should do. Maybe doctors should say, "Do you have a car? Yeah. Do you like your car? Yeah. Do you look after your car? Some do, some don't." I said, "Well, imagine you got the most beautiful car in the world. Yeah. Imagine you had the most beautiful car. Imagine you worked 10, 20, 30 years. You saved up your money. You bought the most beautiful car you can possibly imagine. It's your dream car. Well, that's what God gave you. God gave you your dream car. Did you keep it clean? Did you take it to the garage? Did you check the engine? You know? Did you polish it? Right? Yeah. Did you do everything necessary to keep that car in tip-top mint condition? Or did you think, one day maybe I'll swap it for another car, or or did you think, oh, if I crash it, it's okay, I can get new parts for it too? No, you get one body. And there's no garage repair center, right? There's the scrap rubbish dump place where all the old cars go. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really get new doors and new if it gets a scrape or a scratch, that's it. We've all got the scars, right? Right? And and so yeah, people expect too much because everything is given to them. Here's your lunch, here's your Netflix, here's your music radio, here's your fashion, here's your next video game, here's your next TV series, and they think they can treat their body the same way. No, 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 they can't do that. And yeah, you gotta look after yourself, and you have to know your strengths and weaknesses, and play to your strengths, work on your weaknesses, and you have to play your own game, right? No, don't get caught in other people's worlds, in other people's lives, in other people's games. You'll get
Mm.
in other people's the machine will crush you.
Mm.
Yeah. In one way or another. One way or another, it will crush you. It will destroy you physically, or it'll destroy you mentally, or it'll cause you to make bad decisions, or you'll always be looking over your shoulder. You'll always be checking behind you. That's one of the poems is about that. One of the poems in my book is about that. The crab.
Crap.
The crab.
Oh,
Don't,
I read.
yeah. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I'm just saying that in the book there's a poem about a crab, and the crab is always looking back
Yes.
over his shoulder.